Hey guys, in today's episode, we're talking Gold Coast. Who's relevant and who's not? Under a new coach, there's a lot of opportunity there. Stay tuned. Jimmer Hardwick's come in, and it really looks like there's a lot of opportunity down at the Gold Coast now. I guess it's up because I'm from Melbourne, but you get what I mean. There's a lot of positional changes, and there's a lot of pressure internally from the club and externally from all the media and the fans and just the AFL community in general to actually perform. I know some of the players like Sam Flanders were almost on the way out of the team if Stewie Jew didn't leave. And obviously Hardwick coming in, 3 premierships, we know how strong the Richmond side have been, really kind of spurred a lot of the players on, but then also created a lot of that, hey, am I going to get moved around? Hey, these player who has shown something, are they going to get put in a new position? I think there's a lot of that happening this preseason, and we're very, very lucky that we get round zero to actually kind of gauge in a real professional setting, as opposed to the preseason games, in a real professional setting where points are on the line and they actually want to win. Let's check out who I think are relevant this year. Starting in the back line. Now, from all reports, Will Powell is taking the kick-ins. In terms of actual scoring in Supercoach, I'm not sure where that's going to make him end up, but we could see a 5 to 6 point increase on this price and him pushing for, top 10, top 15 status. If he didn't have the early buy, I think there might be a lot more people actually jumping on the pick, but the early buy kind of kills them. I think similar with a few of these other teams, there are some real valid and real valuable Gold Coast players, but Will Powell's not that for me. If I look at Connor Buderick, though, we know what we've said in the podcasts, on the live stream, everything like that. Hardwick's come in and basically said, hey, Connor Buderick, you're going to be this club's Jaden Short. We'll see what happens there. But from all reports from the intra-clubs and everything else that's happening at the moment, he's basically sharing kick-ins with Will Powell. If that means we can get an 80 to a 90 average out of him, potentially, that's all the better for us because that means his price is going to jump up. He could get to 450K. I know a lot of people are kind of considering him alongside a few of these forward premiums or forward mid-prices who might be better picks, might not be. If you're expecting the balls to be down Gold Coast defense a lot, Connor Buderick taking kickouts, a lot of run off halfback. We've seen when he in his rookie days what he was good at doing. Can he do that under a new coach? Big wait and see. Opportunity is probably the name of the game with Gold Coast and kind of figuring out what was going to happen. Players like Noah Anderson did really well with Touk Miller not in the team. But now all three, I'm talking Anderson, Matt Rowell, Touk Miller are there. Something has to give. There's too many good players in that Gold Coast midfield for everybody to go massive. At the moment, it's looking like Noah Anderson's doing quite well. Another standout performance in the midfield on the weekend. And Touk Miller, who we'll talk about now, he's just going big every single week. Could be the steal of the draft at under 550K. I know there's Newcomb. I know there's a few other players there. Jack Steele. If Touk Miller did not have the early buy, he would be much more owned than what he is now. Can you get away with having him potentially a Flanders in the forward line and maybe a Tom Green? Probably not. And these are the questions that super coaches are going to have. Watch for the preseason games to get a real makeup because there's a big difference, as we know, between intra-club performance and actual game performance, right? So intra-club could be fantastic because you basically got double the amount of midfielders on the field as opposed to a real practice game versus another team. Watch to see what his midfield mix is like. Watch to see what Anderson's midfield mix and role is like. And then another one, Matt Rowell, who apparently in the preseason has had, running coaches and all sorts. We know how tough he is around the ball, but it's always been his endurance and ability to get up and down the ground, which has hurt him a little bit. Heavier players who are younger, obviously they don't move as fast as some of the smaller players. So big watch and see for me. Only problem is, out of these three at the moment, I'm picking Touk Miller if I had to pick one in my team, but I haven't got any, and that probably says a little bit. Jake Rogers has apparently been impressing as well and could offer some value, though I think he actually is going to get pushed out of the team. Maybe not out of the team, but pushed out of consideration for us in Supercoach. There are some better options around a similar price, or guys maybe 20 to 30K cheaper who don't have that early buy. Yes, the early buy does mean that they get one price increase ahead. So round 2, end of round 2, they get the price increase instead of end of round 3. That could sway some people if he has a really good round 0. Jake Rogers comes out, scores 100. You could almost be forced to put him in your team just because the fact he scored 100 and he's going to jump up 50K easy. And you get that knowledge for free. Just wanted to touch on Jared Witts. I don't think he's going to be Supercoach relevant, but if you've got draft and you need a later pick, definitely jump on the Witts pick. Ned Moyle was one who I was going to feature as well, but I just don't know where he is in the team. Is he behind Witts? I don't think he's going to play the second ruck anymore with Jed Walter, with Casbolt still in that forward line. They don't need him to pinch hit in the ruck. So Ned Moyle basically gets played if Witts is out. At the moment, Witts is fit. So we'll wait and see for that. Maybe someone to downgrade to. But at 193K, he might just be an option in a couple of years when Witts finally retires. Sam Flanders. He's one that I think at the moment he's only like 45% owned. If you don't have this guy on your team, you better get him in your team. The kid's a freak. We know how good he is in Supercoach. We know how good he was in the second half of the season. At the moment, it's looking like he's basically getting bulk midfield minutes, which is exactly what we want in terms of Supercoach. His scoring last year was predicated on him getting midfield minutes. He stayed at the club because he's going to get midfield minutes. And under Dimmer, he's getting midfield minutes. The big toss-up between Sam Flanders is the fact that a lot of people have a GWS midfielder at the moment. Potentially they've got a Cadman or someone else like Sexton, who we'll talk about soon, in their forward line. How many of these players can you have that share the same buy? Potentially you can get away with some DPP swing if you've got someone in the midfield who you can swap. Might be an option for a lot of you guys. But you really don't want to be relying on your forward bench players to actually cover your other players. Yes, it's best 18, but you want your best 18 out there, not just 18. Humphrey is one who definitely dominated last year and had those big 190 scores, which saw his price increase. It's looking like at the moment, though, he's not going to get those bulk midfield minutes where we saw him soar quite well last year. Raul, Anderson, Tuke Miller, a few of these other guys are pushing him out. So it's probably a big no for me, but I just wanted to highlight it. Now, Jed Walter, unfortunately, has come out and broke his collarbone. So he is going to miss, at least the start of the season, going to miss that early bye. Potential downgrade target. But, he was very sketchy to be a selection already, having the early bye, being a key forward. Now, he's almost unpickable for me. Someone who isn't unpickable is Alex Sexton. Now, from all reports, and we knew this coming into the preseason, Alex Sexton had been set up as a half-back flanker. Former, maybe not premium, but at least mid-pricer player at Gold Coast, has now come back from injuries, found himself a fantastic position. I know Sexton is currently locked in my forward line, and he should be locked in yours as well. There's a lot of these type of players this year who maybe positional changes, maybe role changes. Guys who we flagged in our role change video and players who were tracking for round 1. Keep an eye out for these type of players because if he jumps up to 330K, which is very, very doable, 330K is only like a 65 average. That's nothing. He can do it in a much favored position, running off halfback. It's basically, if he's fit, chuck him in your team. If he's not, okay, no worries. You haven't lost anything. Early price rise, yes. Early buy as well, but you can't pass up the opportunity sometimes. Guys, let me know down below. Big J, you've missed out on my favorite player, Matt Rowell. He's in my team. What do you mean he's not doing that well? Let me know down in the comments. Guys, I'm plowing through all the teams, all the Supercoach players, and including a little bit of the intra-club knowledge as it comes through in these videos. Stay tuned for more content. And remember, we've got our Supercoach League that you guys can join as well. 3 amazing prizes. I'll put the video link down in the description below. Here at the Centre Bounce, we do the hard work so you don't have to. Bye for now.